Yes, we will welcome For Honor's very first cross-brand hero skin with Ezio, of course, from Assassin's
Ezio,
Creed.
auditore da
So super
Firenze.
hyped. This will be a Peacekeeper hero skin.
Ubisoft,
You're hyped
you
as
want to
well?
do
Yeah,
a
it makes
1
sense.
million,
The stabby,
1
stabby everywhere.
bazillion dollar.
You got a stabby
Yeah.
here, you got a stabby
Do
here.
Dark Souls.
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
Okay.
So amazing. This is, of course, their iconic character from Assassin's Creed franchise, our friends upstairs. So it's wonderful to have Ezio able to come into For Honor. This should be great for players. They can try it out on their Peacekeeper.
And it's looking crispy.
Yes.
I believe you had a hand in that, yeah?
My team did, yeah. Yeah, the character team really went and they remade this armor. So a lot of the pieces they had to add on to it, things like the bracer with the hidden blade, make that a little bit more in the style of this game, and retextured everything. The face is original, the weapons are original, they're all based off of things that were in Assassin's Creed, and we're really very proud of how it turned out.
Yeah, I think this is the H'est and the D'est that Ezio has ever been. So it's really cool to see Mr. Auditore in For Honor and looking sharp, looking crispy. So Amelie.
So I watch a lot of references of the old game, and we talk about with the mocap actor that worked on Assassin's Creed before, and we come to the conclusion that the best thing to change was the navigation. So like all new character, we went to mocap, we shoot some new animation for the walk, the jog, the idle, and the sprint, and then integrate it to the game. The best challenge
All right.
was to
Yeah, they cannot just do
keep the
it
animation of
one-to-one.
Peacekeeper
Because
and Ezio and merge them
of the
together,
regular
because
animations.
we keep in the combat system like we see here, so it's staying the same, so everything's gonna be the same for
Now
him,
I feel
except for the
bad
drop attack.
to
So the drop attack is
decapitate
gonna be
Ezio.
unique to him, and it's gonna stay for him forever. Like we can see here, it's very cool with the blade, so it's very fun. And a unique thing too is the Assassin's Creed 2 animation style was like a bit old, so it was a very hard challenge to like integrate it to a For Honor universe with our motion matching system. So I think we did a pretty good job with it. The next thing that we changed was the some unique execution, emote, and signature. We adjust a lot of hand position, contact, and we add a little Ezio feeling to them as well.
In the game, of course, the new landing page.
Yes, for the landing page, it was my first time integrating the character in the landing page. Thanks to Kim for the background and Fred for the VFX. We did a super great job with it, and I feel like
Cool.
we're
Very
switching games. Like we're opening an Assassin's Creed game for the first time. I'm really happy with it.
I mean, I'm gullible as a baseline, but if you showed me that and you were like, "Hey, yeah, this is an Assassin's Creed game you've never played," I would believe you,
Yes.
because just looks really sharp. You and the team did a great job on it.
Yeah.
Props to everyone who's worked for sure on this. Looks amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, don't go anywhere. We're gonna look at the full armor variation video, and we'll be back with that.
So this is the full armor variation clip. Oof, the Lawbringer helmet, man. Oof. Hang. The Highlander. He looks like a Backstreet Boy. Somehow. But Laura, your looks good. Nice. Nice. I think Shamsul is very nice. Lawbringer. Yorm. They're by far my favorites.
Yeah. New map.
Yeah, let's get right into it because we have a lot to cover here.
Oh,
So let's start off with the
Yeah.
here's the overview of the map here with the 3 capture zones A, B, and C. As you
So
guys know,
they
very
made
important to play
C
Dominion.
the home point for the attackers.
So like to kind of take you guys through
A,
a bit of
the home point
design
for the
process
defenders.
here was
B is
like,
obviously
say on day 1, you know,
contested.
I put in the spawners
Contested
in the
minion
map, and I had to calculate my runtime parity across the 3 different zones there.
Now I'm sure. Now I know what that means. Obviously, I think. But for just those at home, what exactly is runtime parity? Like?
So it's a technical term. You don't need to worry about
thank
it.
God.
But yeah, so it's a fancy way of saying the time it takes to get between spawn and each of the capture zones at match start.
Okay.
So you know we're looking to have a balanced map here.
Yeah.
You know we don't want to release something that's unbalanced right out of the gate.
Of course.
So yeah, that's essentially what I'm talking about when I
Okay.
say runtime parity. So equal for both teams.
Map is too
so,
tiny. I think
getting back
this
to the,
also
the
underlines
overview here. So when
how
I
you
placed
play
my
this
spawners
map.
in the map,
You
I
always
saw that
want
I
at
had
least
equal
1 point
runtime
to
parity
rotate
to
with
capture
B-lane.
zones B and C.
Like you don't
So
want
that
to
was
lose
nice,
all points,
but A
and
was
then you
quite
basically have no
severely
healing
off
points.
balanced. And so it wasn't a question of moving the spawner closer or further because then I would mess up my balance on the other 2 capture zones. So I kind of had to come up with some clever tricks to get balance on all 3.
Gotcha.
So
they
starting
kept the
here
geyser?
from the defender spawn, yes, there is a geyser, and let me tell you why. At first, you know, I removed all the geysers, because I'm like, all right, we don't really need them, but essentially I ended up adding 2 of them back in, so that the defender team from match start has to navigate around the geyser to then get their footing inside capture zone A. So that kind of adds a few extra
Seconds or what?
milliseconds,
Okay.
you know, because we're trying to be as precise as possible. The other thing we did here was we
But guys,
elongated the capture zone here,
You
so it's much wider than
in
it
theory,
was
you're
even
correct.
in a past event.
Okay.
So that also helps
let's
get
say
attackers get their
Someone
foot in
doesn't pay
sooner.
attention.
And from the
Okay,
attacker
this is
side,
like this is no nitpicking. Okay.
we created a new path.
Someone
from
doesn't pay
spawn.
any attention.
So
takes
here,
60
you
damage in
have
his
that
face,
little mountain of
and now
rubble
he
and
has to stay
stone that
on the
goes off,
healing
and
point, on
also
the
on
point
side,
to heal himself up.
you have this path that
loses
was
more-
always
more
there
seconds.
in other game modes, but coming up
To rotate
here,
with B-lane and so on.
This little
This is
portion here,
why,
normally there's
in my
a boulder
opinion,
that's
was
blocking this
Cathedral
area.
on the
So this is
bottom of the
non-gameplay
options
space,
for
so I opened it up
rework.
so that attackers could get a faster navigation path to capture zone A. And the other reason why I added the geysers back in was when you're standing in capture zone A, you had a little too much visibility on the defender spawn zone.
Gotcha.
So, you know, when the geysers are erupting, it kind of cuts that line of sight.
So let the defenders be a little sneaky on their spawn, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to give too much away.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. So that's some of the things we need to consider when converting these maps, because you know they were designed a certain way, and sometimes you have open lines of sight in certain areas. So we need to be a little clever on how we can cut those lines of sights.
Gotcha.
Moving on to capture zone B here. Capture zone, the minion lane will run through the cathedral. And so this is actually going to be our first Dominion map with a roof over the minion lane.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, so you're going to have to choose your feats.
Oh, so you
Accordingly.
can't be arrow storming in there and
Right,
catapults in there for the minion
Okay,
line?
what does-
exactly.
Okay.
So that'll be it's a nice change of flavor
Nice.
for the new Dominion map. You'll also notice that in the back there was previously a huge statue and a statue base kind of blocking the middle entrance of the cathedral. So I removed that so that players and minions can get in, access it a lot more comfortably.
Awesome.
and there's also a bridge now that that players can take to navigate between capture zones A and C.
Yeah, the
So
straight
you're not
direct
forced to
backup.
run through the minion lane to get to the
That's
other
actually
zone.
cool.
I still love that just the image of that warden just running
Mhm.
by. Thank
Yeah.
you for looping that, Max. It was amazing. Now, does the bridge there? It's kind of over the minion lane. Is there
Yep.
chances for drop attacks, or what are we doing over there?
So I did remove all the drop attack opportunities there since it's a narrower
Mhm.
minion lane than other maps. So if it'd be like drop attacking fish in a barrel.
Mm.
So as the saying goes.
I feel like I'd be the fish in that scenario too.
Yes,
So
yes,
thank you for
yes.
that. Yeah.
So yes,
Okay.
yes, and yeah. So now moving on to capture zone C here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So for those of you
Oh,
who
it
might
almost
have.
broke. No.
Yeah, they also
For those of
removed
you
all
who might have played
ledge
a past
opportunities here.
event, this is pretty much kept as it was.
Mhm.
Though I did remove a fire trap that was previously there because
That was spawned from a previously, like, it was a bit of a perch there at one point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For
So
some Kevin individuals in the past.
rip Kevin.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the capture zones, the balancing, and all the thought process that went behind all that.
Wow.
So now I want to touch upon something that we talked about the previous time,
Mhm.
the intro cinematics.
Ooh,
So yeah, quite a bit of work went there. Shout out to Amelie
Amelie.
once again in the back. Yeah, she did a great job. It was again a learning exercise for us because we had kind of lost some of this knowledge, and Felix as well, our tech designer. They kind of had to retro engineer, how to make these happen once again.
Nice.
So now we have that skill set, we have that knowledge moving
Right.
forward. So hey, I really hope players
Okay.
enjoy.
At least
I
no
can't see how they won't.
voice lines
because, I
anymore.
mean, we've had a chance to play this internally. It's a ton of fun. It's just so nice and refreshing to have something.
Ready
like
to
this
drink
in
beer
the
at
news.
Great Hall.
It's great. So
Wow.
amazing work. Looks incredible. And,
can't-
shout out to
oh.
everybody else on the team who worked on this and contributed.
I can't
so,
hear it anymore.
thank you all so much. And Warriors, you at home, the Cathedral for Dominion live next week, April 25th, for everybody with the upcoming title update.
Cool.
And again,
But
permanent. It's here. It's here for
Permanent.
good.
That's
No
right.
more
Yo.
limited time. It
Yep.
is here. It's going to be in the rotation
Why not?
now from now on in Dominion when you do matchmaking. Available in custom matches if you want to go in and check it out for yourself. So yeah, it's the first Dominion map in a long time, and it's
yeah.
exciting. So
Mhm.
it looks.
And I hope to be back again in the near future.
Well, I hope so too. I hope so too. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
No, all right. So thank you so much. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
Alrighty, so we are going to show you just kind of a bigger video showing off the Cathedral converted map one more time, and after that, stick around because we're going to have JC himself on the couch to talk about patch notes, balancing, all those fun topics, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
let's go. I think it's an okay map. Nothing special, to be honest. But it's a very, very, very small map. So that means stalling is very powerful here in this game and on this map. Like, okay, but under the premise we have balanced teams.
You captured Zone A.
So it takes. I checked the clock. It literally takes you 10 seconds to move from C to A. Oh, it looks good. But what I don't like is all the small pillars on the map, you know? You have always an obstacle. You can always bring an obstacle between you and an enemy. This is already annoying on some maps. For example, Sanctuary Bridge. Like you can bring the torch in front of you or the pillars on the bell house between enemies. And now you have 1 million pillars and obstacles, tombstones here on the map. Oof. Oh. Ah, okay. But like I said, this is just nitpicking, okay? Hello guys, they finally integrated the Highlander rework. And here are the changes. So, let's make it quick. You can now enter offensive form after any feint by holding the heavy attack button. Fast flow to offensive form during offensive form side dodges now from 600 to 800 milliseconds. And you can now dodge earlier when entering offensive form. To keep it short, they did this because every time when you see someone's entering offensive form out of neutral, you can interrupt him with a quick zone or with a light attack. So, more changes to the offensive form. So, kick can now be feinted. That means you can input the kick, cancel it into a GB, for example, to cover certain options. And K-bar toss can now be accessed from front dodge by pressing guard break. K-bar toss from front dodges now has more forward movement and reach. New attack, side dodge heavy attack, 14 damage. And it's a 600 millisecond attack. Top light attack is now 400 milliseconds, down from 500. Like when you're in offensive form, it was yeah, it makes more sense to throw left and right attacks. And now you can also throw top attacks since they are all unreactable now. Heavy attacks now deal 26 damage, down from 30. So more changes to his defensive form. Light opener superior blocks, aka crushing counters, only deals now 18 damage, down from 20. Top heavy openers is now 800, down from 1 second, and deals 24 damage instead of 30. And side heavy openers are now 900, down from 1000, and deals 27 damage, down from 30. Chain lights no longer have uninterruptible stance. Heavy finishers now chain to zone attacks and have 100 milliseconds of guard break vulnerability, down from 200. And zone attack gets a huge buff. First attack is now feintable, gains uninterruptible stance at 500. So, aka you fully commit that zone attack. Third attack now gains uninterruptible stance at 100. Third hit now chains to heavy finishers, and all hits now have weapon trajectories that better matches the weapon visuals. To keep it short, better hitbox now. Okay, and here are more changes. Kick and K-bar toss no longer drain stamina, can now be feinted from dodge heavy attacks. Movement speed has been increased. Finally, now he's not the slowest hero anymore. On top of that, we have a surprise buff to Warden. He gets new follow-ups to his shoulder badge. New animations for the following attacks: left and right light attacks, including the combo hit, heavy attacks, all stances, and zone attacks. All new follow-ups now gain uninterruptible stance at 100 milliseconds.
Video, and then I'll explain as we go. So essentially what we've done is
What?
on left and right light attacks after shoulder bash, and then on all the heavies and as well as on zone attack, we've given them all, and top light also does it, but all these attacks that I've listed that are listed here have brand new animations. We took the opportunity there as well to make sure we did more half sorting stuff. I know it's a big request from the community to have half sorting attacks. I see Brian in the
Brian's
back, like,
dancing in the background.
going nuts, so that's great. So we've adjusted this, but at the same time, we wanted to keep Warden playing the same. So it's the same inputs. Everything's kind of the same. The damage is the same, recoveries, timings, everything is the same. It's just different visuals. Because we wanted to make sure that because these have uninterruptible stance, they need to be different than the attacks from neutral. Because it's not always clear otherwise. Are you throwing your neutral one? Are you throwing the one after shoulder bash? Yeah. Did I mistime it and the wrong one came out? And why didn't I get armor here and there? So it's kind of like it's a whole package here for this. And the reason why we did this, which is also quite important, right, is Warden has a bit of an issue in group fights where you couldn't really throw shoulder bash because you would get peeled constantly, very, very quickly. So with this, you actually are a
Yeah,
lot more solid. You're basically immune to like non-bash peels.
Okay, and we have more changes to crush. We have more crushing counter nerfs. So some heroes have a very powerful technique. It's called backstab lights, and you usually use it against other heroes who's trying to heavy you, light attack you, or bash you, or GB you out of neutral. And the only thing you have to do is pressing backwards, perform a light attack, and you cover basically everything. You cover a GB attempt, you cover a bash attempt, you cover a light attack, heavy, and so on. Since they cannot parry you, they cannot grab you, they cannot reach you with the heavy. So this is very, very, very short explanation. And we have more balance nerfs for, well, let's say, very strong heroes. Shinobi, damage nerf, light openers now deals 10 damage, down from 12. Zone second hit now deals 4 damage, down from 7, down from 6. Hitokiri, guard break vulnerability is increased now. Aphira, top red moon now deals 16 damage, down from 80. Top red moon is basically the punish after a bash. So, for example, you press backwards, GB, you perform the bash, or you do the backflip and press GB, then you also perform a bash. That's basically damage, the damage of it. And of course, we have some nerfs to Orochi and Berserker. To keep it short, it's just damage nerfs. To be honest, I don't think they're reasonable, since that's not actually the main problem. The main problem is that not all heroes have an answer to their unlock dodge attacks. But hey, that's how Ubisoft approaches. Okay, now I mentioned all balance changes, and we have just one more little thing.
We've got the execution sprightly skewer.
Oh, that was PK.
Oh, that was the one we just saw. Oh, I wasn't looking at the monitor. That's
what?
on me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so pick that up, sprightly skewer, get your PK on, and then we got more items coming on April 25th. We got the execution Fear Not the Darkness. Shown here on
favorite one.
on JJ. But and a mythic outfit, the Apple of Eden. Or if you're from the Viking faction, that would be the
That's
Apple
a
of
very
Eden.
character or a skin for a hero?
For
It
all,
is
for
a
all,
skin
for all my
for
Norse lore
Peacekeeper.
nerds out there.
Those two pictures seem the same to me.
We've also got an emote, Master Assassin, 10k steel, shown here on Shinbro. The Shinbro. For the falconers out there, we've got an eagle companion. I know it's not a falcon, but yeah.